My name's Rich Hayden. I own Virtual Reality Racing Club. We're here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm here with Purple Sector Performance, which is a race driver training, all levels, club championship, all the way up to Le Mans level. What we do is we help them out with race simulation and driver coaching, and we do that using our SimRace Pro simulators, which you see behind me. They're really high-level simulation, and we use virtual reality to make sure that the immersion for the driver is as best as it could be, and giving them the accuracy to be able to follow the right lines and be as accurate with their driving style as they can be. One of the things we use with that is the HTC Vive Pro headset with a real high resolution. It's fantastic for driver training. It's the only way to drive a racing simulator. The average speed improvement or time improvement for a driver, a pro driver, going from screens to VR, is minimum is 1 second a lap, and the average is anywhere between 1.5 and 2 seconds per lap.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Opened originally on the 3rd of September 1922, this circuit has been in operation for around nearly 98 years. Welcome to the third round of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and once again, I'm pleased to welcome MSL Motorsport Consultancy's very own Martin Jones back in the virtual commentary box. Evening, Martin. How are you?
Evening, Alex. Absolutely marvellous, thank you. This is one of my favourite circuits, and I think after last week's entertainment, we should be in for a cracking one. Weight penalties, all of these sort of things. There's going to be a lot of interesting, how can I put it, excuses in the book, etc.
Yes, there were a couple of protests put in after round 2 last week at Zolder. I think Josh Stanton actually got excluded from one of the races as a result of someone making a protest. But as you can see, 3.6 miles, 5.793 kilometres. It's going to be pretty much flat out down the majority of the straightaways. And one of the more interesting things about this circuit here, Martin, is that there are drivers that are coming in with significant ballast. And it is not going to be easy, especially when you're going into Refugio across the start-finish line. You've then got Della Roggia before the 2 Lesmos, which is a double right. You've then got Ascari before you then turn into Parabolica. So these cars are going to be on full throttle pretty much for, I think, at least 70% of the lap here at Monza. And as you can see on the screen, there is our calendar. So after this, we'll be heading to Barcelona, Brands Hatch, Grand Prix, Snetterton 300, Sepang, Shanghai, Bathurst, aka the Mountain, on the 18th of August, and the Circuit of the Americas rounds out our season on the 25th of August. First prize will be a set of Esports pedals from OBP. SimLab will provide a P1X chassis for the runner-up overall. Fanatec will provide an SQ shifter through the third place person in the standings. Thurstmaster T-LCM for 4th, and a £100 Ebuyer voucher. And as you can see on the right-hand side, we will have qualifying underway at in around about a minute or so's time before we get the first race underway at around 7 o'clock this evening. We'll have a race 2, reverse grid, success ballast, and what's even more interesting is that this is a completely sold out. We've got some notable absentees, including Chris Smiley, who's just been in his Hyundai i30N saloon with Accelerate Motorsport ahead of the British Touring Car Championship, which kickstarts on the first weekend of August, the 1st and 2nd. Max Coates has been with Team Brit, also down at Brands Hatch. So those two guys I have not seen on the timesheets. But Martin, coming back to the circuit, it is quite fearsome and quite iconic, considering the fact that Ferrari secured their first win in 9 years in Formula One, with Charles Leclerc doing the double, having won at Spa-Francorchamps, after Fernando Alonso last took the win for the Tifosi in 2010. Great circuit, isn't it?
It's just a great circuit. Just sits in the middle of a full park. I love the village. It's village. I call it this. Yeah, I like to think it is a village because it gives you that wonderful, warm feeling. Go into this beautiful arena, just iconic motorsport. The old banking's still there. The Tifosi are absolutely the Passione is just amazing from them. It makes you, if you do one thing in your motorsport life, you got to go there. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I've been to Adria International Raceway, which is actually quite a bit further north, based in the Veneto region, about an hour and 15 minutes from Venice Marco Polo Airport. But Monza is on my bucket list, and I want to be there one day when I see a Ferrari being cheered by the Tifosi at a Formula One Grand Prix. That is one of my things to do. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's going to be happening in qualifying. We've got a 20-minute session. And one of the biggest things, as we found out with Zolder, it's just as important here at Monza, Martin, to put it as far up the grid as possible. So the drivers are really going to have their work cut out for them. I think we heard that Dave Marshall's having to brake a considerable amount earlier in order to mitigate the 150 kilo ballast that he comes into this round with, being the championship leader from Jack McIntyre by just 10 points.
Yeah, how much weight is Jack carrying in this one?
He's got 10 kilos less, as we now see him on screen in the number 37.
Yeah. This is another circuit that's all about getting the hairpins right. There's not one of them that I would say you can actually attack, unlike the one at the back straight of Zolder. The key to this lap is to get a really good exit from Lesmo onto the Serragullo straight, going into the Ascari sort of chicanes. Gives you a good toe out of the Ascari into Curva Parabolica, and then Parabolica is essential to get it right for the Rettifilo. So all of a sudden it's a quick circuit, but you've got to get these little chicanes right, and these cars with that weight will not want to go around corners. It's going to be really quite interesting to watch how they cope with this.
And one of the people that has been practicing quite significantly, bouncing over the curbs there, is Rich Hayden. He was actually quickest in free practice before we went live a little bit earlier on in the number 50 Audi RS3 LMS. But we've been saying about potential dark horses. I think you and I are both in agreement here, Martin, that Rich is possibly going to be one of those people that could have that opportunity to really put the cat amongst the pigeons, considering we've had 4 different winners from the first 4 races back at Paul Ricard, and also Zolder, as we're now on to races 5 and 6 of what's been an interesting championship so far.
Well, if you look at the luck Rich has had, it's only been bad. He's been smoking this. I reckon I'd like to see his timesheet on the hours he's put into proving a point here at, again, one of his favourite circuits. So I hope he does go well, and I think he will do. He's my one to watch for the day.
Yep, so there we have Dave Marshall in the 66, current points leader. Looks like he's got another Honda just behind. That's Rob Butler in the 74. There's Konstantin Kletzer just going through the screen there in the number 43 Golf, based out of Austria. So, and Andy Mellors in the number 92 has gone top of the timesheets, a 1 minute 58.642. And then, there goes West up into what was second, as Alex Toth-Jones goes up into second place, nearly a second and a half behind Ryan Elliott in the number 2 RSR Golf. So there's James West, also known as Gamer Muscle. He is probably streaming on Twitch as we speak, so he does have quite substantial following at the moment, and everyone keeps on cheering him on. He's one of 2 drivers who are racing in cars that are based out of Italy. the Alfa Romeo Giulietta TCE. So both him and Kobe Leekens in the 44. Good to see that Kobe's back with us as one of the VRRC cars goes out. I think that was off of Ascari there. As there is Konstantin Kletzer. It looks like he's got, there's Alex Toth-Jones. And I think Senna Proctor is also, because Senna and Chris are teammates. So it looks like...
they're missing today.
Yeah, so they're missing in action. So we'll have a slightly different grid, but good to see Konstantin Kletzer back with us. He was competing back in the Volkswagen Golf in the inaugural VRRC Touring Car eSeries, which was a four-week campaign, but now we've stretched it out a little bit more. 14 minutes and 20 seconds still to go. Ryan Elliott has now a 1.3 second advantage over Luke Whitehead. Alex Toth-Jones rounds out the top three. For those interested in the Ask Alex Q&A that's happening tomorrow night, it will be broadcasted live via my YouTube channel personally, as we'll be talking for about half an hour, and you can actually ask either of us a question. So live on YouTube. So it'd be good to speak with Alex about his new campaign. Obviously, he's been competing in the Mini Challenge UK E-Series as well as what we're doing here with the Touring Car E-Series. But he's going to be racing in the Porsche Sprint Cup GB with IN2 Racing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that livery looks like, Martin, because I've been told by our good friend Philip that it's going to be a cracker from what I understand.
It's a stunning livery. Philip's done a great job. Brendan's sort of imagination, Philip's practicality, very, very good. And thanks to USRS up in Leeds, what a great job they've done pulling it together for us. So looking forward to getting back. First race weekend for God knows months now, and we're back at Snetterton this weekend. So
that's not too far from me, about an hour and 20 minutes drive. I've got other commitments, otherwise I would like to come up and see you guys, but hey ho, it is what it is. And obviously with social distancing, they are restricting how many people can go on tracks. But here is Ryan Elliott still leading the way in qualifying. About 2 3/4 minutes towards the end of the session as flames shoot out the back end of the Volkswagen Golf. Here's Andy Carroll, and loses it a bit there going into the first part of Retzofilio, and there is Luke Whitehead just waiting to avoid. Kobe Leekens goes up into P4 ahead of Andy Mellors. Kobe Leekens, I think, is looking a bit stronger now as Ryan Elliott and Mikko Salminen make it a Volkswagen Golf 1-2, split exactly by 1 second to the decimal point there. So it's Elliott, Salminen, Whitehead, Kletzer, Toth-Jones, Leekens up to 6th, Mellors, Carroll, West and Cole. That is your top 10. And even though they're separated by 2.3 seconds here, Martin, there is still time in this session to really sort of go up the order, isn't it? Bear with us for just a moment. So there is Luke Whitehead in the number 21 LWR Hyundai i30. He's been definitely one to keep an eye on as he goes down towards the Ascari chicane under the bridge, probably pushing at around 130 to 140 miles an hour. I'd like to see an onboard of how they're hustling through these corners at the minute, because it is about taking no quarter as we go on board with Harry Omerod up the gears. Maxing out the rev range.
Yeah, apologies, Alec. I think my neighbours have gone on to watch the racing as well, so soaking up the broadband.
Such modern technology, but
these problems. Hey,
first world problems, as they say. But I think Luke Whitehead here, Martin, could really be a dark horse. I mean, Rob Butler, I think he's been consistently battling for podiums as Elliott goes quicker than Whitehead, and Whitehead actually now up to P2. So there are so many drivers that we could really pick and choose, like cherry pick. But then when we get to the racing, it's going to be completely different, because qualifying is about the pure lap pace under 1 lap in qualifying trim, and then they've got to look at it from right, what's my strategy for the race? I'm going to be at full throttle. I've really got to watch my braking points, and that's where the key point is on this circuit here at Monza.
Yeah, with the weight on the cars, this can be quite hard on tyres as well, because if you're going from high speed to slow speed in quite a few areas, and all very quickly. So I think brakes, tyres, weight. I don't know what the sort of physics on that is, but it sounds like it's going to be difficult for them.
Yeah, it's not been a great session so far for Dave Marshall. He's all the way down in 18th, so we've got 18 cars here out on circuit. He's not set. He's about 3.9 seconds off of Isaac Smith in the number 1, 2, 3. So already, but the thing is that now that we're seeing the time sort of come down a little bit. I mean, Elliott and Whitehead. Elliott's running in the mid 156s, Whitehead in the high 157s, Salmonen's in the mid 157s. As I say that, Isaac Smith and Rich Hayden improve. Rich Hayden goes to within 0.33 of a second off of Ryan Elliott. So the Audi really coming good. There's James West, Gamer Muscle in the number 7 Alfa Romeo Giulietta, being followed by Luke Whitehead. There's Paul Laramie in the number 31 Audi. Typical Ingolstadt style red. Just up ahead of him is John Cole.
It's great to see the different manufacturers out in this. This is it's what we want to see. Alfa Romeo, what a great name, what a great circuit for Alfa Romeo. I don't know if you've ever owned one, but again, that's something every man should do in his life. It's
I can actually tell you I have. I owned an Alfa Romeo 147 55 plate 1.6 twin spark Lusso in Daytona blue, 3-door, lovely car. But then I had problems with it. As every Alfa owner, if it's an older Alfa Romeo, you will testify to this. I had the airbag seat squibs on the passenger side go off, like literally you'd have to do the sort of the makeshift control out and delete, switch the engine off, walk around to the passenger side, open the door, turn the airbag on and off for the deactivation, get back in the car, shut the door, start the engine, and it'd go off. And then I had a fuel sender problem on it. I was driving to the petrol station. I thought, yep, I got a quarter of a tank. Instantly fuel pressure loss on the car, and I was stranded. And I had to walk up a hill to the local petrol station, walk back down with the jerry can in my hand, and managed to limp the Alfa to the petrol station and fill up the tank. That was not the greatest of experiences, but it definitely showed me, yeah, you've truly gone through the Alfa Romeo owner experience there, Alex.
I think it should be a testing. It should be compulsory for every young man. I'm not being sexist, ladies, but this is you'll bear with me. You'll understand what I'm saying when. It teaches men how to love something beautiful, but put up with a load of problems.
Yeah, I think it should be for anybody that is a true petrol head. You should go out and get yourself an Alfa Romeo. It doesn't really matter because they are really, really enjoyable cars to drive. I mean,
fantastic.
I even drove 145, the older style, where it was the bit boxy on the back. And I think that was the Cloverleaf, and that was the full fire breathing. You drop it down to 4th gear, you put your foot down and it goes, and you can hear the exhaust note like rasp through the back of the car, and it was just one of those things where it was just like goosebumps. As we've now got a yellow flag with 6 minutes and 20 to go. There's Konstantin Kletzer in the 43 Golf, currently running in P8, just ahead of Alex Toth-Jones. By around about 0.2 of a second, but it's getting a bit tighter at the top. I mean, Mikko Salmonen and Andy Carroll are exactly 1 second off of Ryan Elliott, and on the basis that Salmonen secured that lap time first, Salmonen gets the benefit of the doubt here in qualifying. 6 minutes on the clock to go, and we've got both James West and I think that is Jack McIntyre who are in the pits at the moment. So in many respects, it's going to be quite interesting, I think, for the first race, if I'm completely honest, Martin.
Totally. I don't know. I don't think the circuit's coming to them. I think they're getting used to the ballast, and I think it's going to be a fascinating first corner again. Last week we were treated to how can I put it? A melee
I think my favorite word when it comes to using either the word melee or carambolage seems to be a favorite of mine. As soon as there is a contretemps, you see the long exuberant words coming out of my mouth as a commentator. I mean, that's part and parcel. I mean, I was at Rye House for my first circuit commentary, and we had one of the pro karts actually have one of its wheels go off, and I went, well, there's 3 wheels on that wagon, and I just went, I can't believe that after 120 days I've had the opportunity to say that. But nevertheless, I mean, what we're seeing here, as everyone's now trying to jostle for position, Alex Toth-Jones out of the pits. Looks like Isaac Smith now out of the pits. Well, there is Alex, and I think it was Harry Omerod that was just up ahead. So, I mean, Rich Hayden, I think, is looking pretty good here. I mean, unless he can do a number on Ryan Elliott for pole position, that gives Rich another 6 points in the book. I mean, he got a fastest lap last time out at Zolder, despite the fact the race didn't go his way, as we got another yellow flag out. I'm hoping, well, Konstantin Kletzer has now jumped into the top 5 and has gone ahead of Isaac Smith for P4 and is only 0.847 off. Here is Rich Hayden hustling his way through.
I just think it shows you that the ballast system is great for racing. The individual drivers won't like it, but it's not about them. It's about the sport and the entertainment.
Well, exactly. I think at the end of the day, it's not always about winning. It's always about taking part and having a bit of a laugh with it as well. Another yellow flag out. We seem to be getting them all the time at the minute, so I'm wondering whether people are going off probably at the Lesmos or maybe at Parabolica. No. Could be, it might be just the fact that, yeah. Thanks to Mike from Simply Race saying, not too sure why it's a yellow flag. Oh, sorry, Martin.
I think they're certainly they're finding the trammets, which is interesting. There is a little bit of room here, but you really don't want to come off. It's quite brutal when you do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you sort of like see two I think we could. I'm going to put a little bit of a prediction. I'm not predicting a race winner by any means, but if I see 3 wide going into Curva Grande for the first time after the Rettifilio, that is more than likely possible, because when you see 2 Formula 1 cars go side by side, it's an impressive sight. You see 3 cars go side by side, considering what's actually raced here. The Italian F4 Championship, the Italian GT Championship, the TCR International Series is raced here. World Touring Car Championship, they've been here. World Sports Car Championship, and also the Italian Grand Prix. There's Mikko Salminen, that has gone off the circuit there.
Right.
So Salminen is currently P7 at the moment.
Can you imagine this circuit, or they put all of the chicanes in? What an awesome thing! You know, without the Rettifilio going into the Curva Grande, and that's why they called it the Curva Grande, because it really was the everything on the dashboard. It was just an amazing bend.
Full throttle, top
absolutely.
gear, revs at the limit.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's Corby Leakins, was running as high as P4 at one point. Here's Jack McIntyre, still in 13th position as we get to the last 90 seconds. But Rich Hayden has got provisional pole. 1 minute 56.543. Brilliant. Virtual air temperature 20 degrees Celsius, track temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And there is the man himself. He looks to be really pushing in that Audi, doesn't he, Martin?
He's been all over it, I reckon, this week. He was so not annoyed, but he was disappointed with the first round, and then the second round it didn't go his way, and he did a little bit of agricultural work. But this one, I think he's really on it.
Yeah, looks to be the case. He's actually pulling into the pits, so I think.
Oh, that's confidence.
Well, 13 thousandths of a second. I think it's either one of 2 things. He thinks he's done enough, or it's just sheer bravado saying, come on, Ryan Elliott, see if you can beat that. And Elliott's in the pits. So Elliott not even going for it. So, and there is Dave Marshall on the back bumper of Rob Butler, heading down the start-finish straight.
Well,
Marshall currently 9th, even with the maximum amount of ballast.
This is clever. If they're working together, they can actually tow each other around to get a quicker time to negate the ballast. But I don't know whether they'll be doing that or they're just having fun with this.
I think this is also a good strategy called reference the race, because as soon as they come out of Parabolica on lap 1 to complete lap 1, then it's going to be about who's going to be the bravest one to sort of look to do it. As the checkered flag is out, that concludes the session. Harry Omarod and Andy Met. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, there's a 20 kilo difference in the ballast here, Martin. So
yeah, you can see it straight away.
Yeah, I think that's probably losing him about 2, maybe 3 tenths on the straight. So, but now as he gets through the corners, he's able to hustle it through and close up to Butler here. But then again, Butler starts to pull away, but then Marshall's a bit tighter on the apex.
Yeah, let's stay with this. This is fascinating. It shows you what the difference in ballast is and driving, styles. A little bit wide there. I think maybe. Yeah, sorry. I think Rob might have aborted on that lap. I'm not 100% sure because he's just sort of dropped back a little bit from Rob. So it could be quite interesting how it changes in terms of the race. But it looks like that pole position sitter for Autodromo Nazionale di Monza is Rich Hayden in the number 50. My goodness, that is, and that is the closest fight we've had for any pole position here. But I'm interested to see what Butler and Marshall might do. I think Marshall has just really decided, no, I'm not going to do it. I think Alex Toth-Jones is also out on circuit, so Alex looking to try and improve from P6. Luke Whitehead improves on time, but not on position. Rob Butler pulls it into the pits, so that's his run done. We'll start from 12th place. And even with the maximum amount of ballast here, Martin, Dave Marshall is 9th. And he's only a second off of Rich Hayden. So Rich Hayden, ladies and gentlemen, is your pole sitter for race 5, which is effectively the first of 2 races here at Monza for round 3 of the 2020 Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and Heating Shop IE. And it was just 13 thousandths between him and Ryan Elliott. Luke Whitehead, Konstantin Kletzer and Isaac Smith round out the top 5 ahead of MSL Motorsport's very own Alex Toth-Jones, with Andy Carroll, Mikko Salminen, Dave Marshall, Harry Omarod, Kobe Leakins, Rob Butler, John Cole, Andy Mellors, James West, Jack McIntyre and Paul Laramie and Kenny Press rounding out the 18 that actually finished, because obviously we've got no Chris Smiley, no Senna Proctor, or and we've also got Max Coates. So I think we might be okay. So it looks like we're going to speak to one of the drivers, and I think we'll head down to him now. Good evening, Ryan. Now, you were leading that session. Now, I understand there's been a bit of a technical issue, that there was a faster lap that you've registered, but it hasn't shown up on the timing as such.
I mean, first lap of the session, I'd done the fastest time I'd done all week, putting in that 5.6, which I thought would have been safe. But I knew I was losing quite a lot of time in turn 1, and then coming across the line, I did a 56.2, but for some reason it didn't pick it up in game. I didn't get a message saying I cut the track. So, but either way, I'm still happy setting off P2. I think I can make it work in the race, even with the 60 kilograms.
Yeah, that's quite a lot when you consider where Dave Marshall is on the grid, and he's the current points leader. And I'm just looking at the standings at the moment. You're currently on 104, so you're not that far behind him. And obviously these 2 races could make a bit of a difference if Dave doesn't have it all his own way. And you are one of the 4 race winners out of all 4 races at the moment. So I think I'm glad to hear that you're feeling pretty confident ahead of race 1, which we'll be getting underway with very shortly.
I mean, obviously there's a lot that goes on in these sort of series. It's not just you come and you race. Obviously there's the weight that you need to factor in. So I knew going into the last round, as long as I could not fall off too far in the points championship, but have a decently low weight going into Monza, being a track full of straight lines, I knew I'd be safe. So I think I'm in a really good spot going ahead.
No worries. Well, Ryan, all the very best of luck for this evening. and let's see how you get on, and maybe see if you might become the first driver to win 2 races in the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Enjoy the race.
Will do. Right, before we go to race time, I think we might be heading to some adverts very shortly. So join myself, Alex Goldschmidt and Martin Jones here at a virtual Autodromo Nazionale di Monza very, very shortly when we get underway for race number 1 here in Italy. Welcome back to Monza here for the 3rd round of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heating shop Don't forget, the season finale of the Mini Challenge UK eSeries is this coming Saturday with Richard John Neal behind the microphone. Brands Hatch is the finale with Max Coates and Dave Marshall respectively leading classes in both the Real World and the Sim Racers Championship standings. A whole host of prizes, and that's been very, very interesting over the past few weeks. But it is down to business here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. The fastest ever recorded lap around here was in 2004 by Rubens Barrichello with a 1 minute 21.046 when he was teammates with seven-time Formula One world champion Michael Schumacher. But in many respects here, we've got a very different side of things as the drivers are lined up on the grid with Rich Hayden and Ryan Elliott along on the front row. And Martin, it's going to be a good one here for the first race, isn't it?
Yeah, here we go, Sean. It's not quite a reverse grid. I won't be mean to them, but the ballast has certainly made this anybody's race.
Yeah, so lights are on the starting gantry. Here we go away first time here at Monza for race one. We are off and the timer starts ticking away. Looks to be a really good start by, I think that's James West. He's trying to make a move. Any press seems to have bogged down at the moment as Ryan Elliott is on the inside run down to the Rettifilio chicane for the first time. Looks like Isaac Smith is possibly going to have a look up the inside of Rich Hayden as they go nearly three abreast. And Ryan Elliott goes bumping over the curbs, as does Rich Hayden. And Luke Whitehead gets it. Yeah, it's already started. Isaac Smith up the inside of Luke Whitehead, who was trying to go round the outside of the Rettifilio chicane. And Rich Hayden powers his way up the inside of the Curva Grande on Ryan Elliott, who is now back into second position. And just behind looks to be Isaac Smith, Konstantin Kletzer, P4. Luke Whitehead, Alex Toth-Jones and Mikko Salmon round out the top seven. As this is nearly two abreast going through into Della Roggia for the first time before they hit the double right Lesmos. So Rich Hayden getting a good getaway here, and that's about a 3 to 4 car length lead he's got over Ryan Elliott. That Audi really pulling away.
It really suits this place. It really does. Oh,
so
that was a big off.
That was Konstantin Kletzer who went off, so that allowed Toth-Jones to go up the inside of the Austrian. Toth-Jones now past Ryan Elliott, so the Hyundai from MSL Motorsport Consultancy, up into P3 and is hunting down Luke Whitehead. What has happened to Isaac Smith? He's gone all the way down to 14th, so there might have been an incident there. There's James West alongside Harry Omerod for position. As there is Andy Mellors.
So this is important, coming out of the Ascari chicane down to the Curva Parabolica. This is quick.
Who's on the that's Andy Mellors. That's Andy Mellors on the grass heading down towards the Parabolica around the outside. That was of Rob Butler, as there's a big lockup going to the Parabolica for the first time. Oh my goodness, this is absolute pandemonium. And what's even more surprising, well, John Cole's now in the pits as Luke Whitehead sets the fastest lap of the race, a 2 minute 4.819. He's currently in what is now third place, because look who's in
Alex
second.
Has made a move there.
Yep, Isaac Smith trying to go up the inside to retake the position. Luke Whitehead, sorry. It's a bit of a problem when you've got two black Hyundai i30s and they've got near-on nondescript liveries that you can't really make out from a distance. But Whitehead back up the inside of Toth-Jones through the Rettifilio chicane. Salminen going around the outside of Konstantin Kletzer. That is for P4. The Finn quite comfortably ahead at the moment. But Kletzer fires back. Look at Dave Marshall, Martin. He's already up into 6th place as they make their way through to the Lesmos.
Yeah, he's got the bit between his teeth, that's for sure. Not letting a bit of ballast get in the way of him.
No, 150 kilos of it. Having the wife and 2 kids in the car's not stopping him, because he's getting really good runs out of the chicanes. As he's up the Nyon, his front bumper is nearly touching the rear exhaust pipes of that Volkswagen Golf. It's just a bit further behind. Ryan Elliott, who was on P2, has got Andy Carroll in the Cupra Leon just up ahead now. So Carroll's had a really good start in these first few laps. We're on to lap number 3, 16 minutes 41 seconds plus an additional lap left to go here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Here comes Luke Whitehead trying to keep at bay Alex Toth-Jones, who is being hounded now by Konstantin Kletzer, the Austrian, really on the back bumper of the 2 Hyundais as they filter their way through Ascari. As Kobe Leakins now is leading the battle of the Alfa Romeos, and he's just got ahead of James West coming around the outside of the number 07, as it's 3 abreast heading into Parabolica. Toth Jones and Konstantin Kletzer have a slight touch there, but who's locked up there? Was that Toth Jones possibly, as they both run wide? Salmonen up the inside of the Oscar, and he door barges with Alex Toth Jones. Salmonen now up into P2. Here comes Dave Marshall. Marshall has just been waiting, biding his time, and he's making it work quite now as they head down to the Retafilio. Kletzer going towards the inside of Salmonen, and there is Toth Jones looking to see if he can make the opportunity stick, possibly. There's Rob Butler. So Kletzer up into second, up into third past Salmonen. Toth Jones has got Marshall breathing down his tailpipes as Luke Whitehead now starting to scarper away. He's about 1.1 seconds ahead as they go through Curva Grande, but this is absolutely what we wanted to see here, Martin. Good, clean, hard racing.
And Rich Hayden's just done what he does best. He's just disappeared. It's just brilliant.
Yeah,
good on him.
Yeah, 1 minute 58.278, the fastest lap at the moment by our current leader, Rich Hayden. As there is Alex Toth Jones, has got Dave Marshall with him, and it's an inter-Wolfsburg battle between Kletzer and Salmonen for the final step on the rostrum. But I think really one of the biggest things that we're going to find here, Martin, is that with these guys battling away, if Alex Toth Jones and Dave Marshall start working together, they're going to start catching up to the two in front, and there's a possibility that Kletzer and Salmonen might be the cork in the bottle, as Butler looking to go up the inside of, I think that is Mellors there for P14. McIntyre, my apologies there. Three other cars, so the VRRC Hondas, it's tough to, as long as I can see Teenage Cancer Trust on one of the side of it, I definitely know it's Andy Mellors, who's currently ahead of Jack McIntyre, so they're battling away for 13th position. But it's really been a bit of a stalemate here for some of the cars that have got ballast, so Marshall's he's having to use the tow as much as possible, as Rich Hayden sets another fastest lap, 1 minute 57.701. So he's really putting the hammer down in the Audi, and the gap now between him and Luke Whitehead is 5.4 seconds.
Yeah, the sort of position sort of 3 to 6, they were squabbling. It's allowed Hayden to get away, and you can see the importance of getting your lines right on the key points, and that's what's happening where they're squabbling. They're not getting the proper entry speed, exit speed. It's going to be fascinating how this works out. I think the brakes, the weight, the degradation, it's going to be I just hope that Rich can I won't even say about have some luck. Yes.
I'm not going to say anything for fear of self-incrimination there, to be honest with you, but look at this battle now for P3. It is a 4-way scrap, because what has happened, as I've said, Kletzer and Salmonen battling away in 2 Volkswagens. Now the Hyundai of Alex Toth Jones is alongside as we go onto the door cam here. Some really great angles we're getting around the circuit, just showing how much commitment and how much abuse not just the tyres, but the suspension also gets, but how they're also rolling down into the respective corners, as we're now going to be heading into what is a Ascari. And a lot of commitment there, a lot of bravado there from Alex Toth Jones to not quite straight line it, but get close to the track limits, and has really got on the toe of Salmonen.
That was a really good exit there. I see what I mean. It's given him the toe onto the main straight there. Yeah, and it's just stay with it. Not going around the outside. Okay, fine.
But he's carried the momentum very well there.
Yeah,
he's cut back, and Salmonen's
took a great line.
Yeah,
he's thought about this, and all barring something going wrong, should be on him on the brakes.
Yeah, he's his front bumper of the Hyundai aligned with the rear bumper of the Volkswagen, but it's getting closer and closer to the braking zone. Who's going to be the bravest out of these two? Will it be Alex Toth Jones? It is. Nicely done there. Dave Marshall's doing, I have to say, a really credible job. As Rich Hayden, he did a 1 minute 57.7. He's now just gone sub 1 minute 57.2. 1.196 to be precise. So Rich Hayden is just absolutely flying and is doing a great job. We're a minute and 20 from the half-time on the clock. Looks like James West is doing a good job down there in 9th position, trying to catch Harry Omerod. Salmon in straight
Where
pace.
are they going? Oh dear.
And Omerod, I think, had a moment there. Looked to be a little bit of lag there from the Hyundai, as Marshall gets past Salmon as a result of that. So Dave Marshall was biding his time. Salmon fires it up the inside of the Honda once again through the first Lesmo. So Marshall was able to capitalise, but then the weight sort of hampered him, because when you look at how much ballast that Mikko Salmonen has got, he's got 80 kilos, so just under half of what Marshall has got, so had the better runner on him. Elliott now trying to close on West for P9, heading into Ascari. Nothing quite doing just yet, but he gets a bit... the back end steps out a la Scandinavian flick, and then he's really hustled it over the curbs there. You've got to watch the track limits there, but that could have been nearly a Stig Blomqvist moment for the number 2 from RSR, as he's riding the slipstream on James West, pulls towards the outside, heading towards Parabolica. Kobylikin's not too far adrift either, and Elliott's planting it round the outside. That's brave, and he's gone wide. That's gonna allow West to go back in front, and then Leekens has actually done a really good job. He's carried the momentum through the corner, and he's got a really good run. So could it be that Ryan Elliott is then passed by both Alfa Romeos, as Andy Carroll and Harry Omerod are having a ding-dong battle here for P7 heading into the Rettifilio chicane? I think Carroll might have the advantage.
Here we go. Oh, this is... it's going to end in tears.
And it nearly did there for James West too, but he managed to get through. So Andy Carroll bumped over the curbs. I think he just got a little bit of a touch from Harry Omerod there, and then Carroll went spinning. West, who was unsighted, could not avoid and had to go through. But the Alfa Romeo still managed to go forward, as Omerod in the I-30 still trying to battle away with the 7. As Omerod nearly loses. Well, he loses not just the opportunity to battle against West for 7th position, but he loses out to Ryan Elliott, and here comes Kobylikin's in the 44, just behind the 77. Meanwhile, we go back to P5, and that is Marshall back ahead of Salmonen. And what's more here, Martin, is that Alex Toth-Jones has now got some clear air between himself and Dave Marshall. But more importantly, the car up ahead is Konstantin Kletzer in the 43.
Yeah, he's just got to keep his lines nice and tidy. He's looking behind less and less. Track limits.
Yeah, definitely. That might be looked at in some respects. But Dave Marshall still battling away, as another car in the distance goes a bit wide. That might have been Andy Carroll, as Mikko Salmonen sends it up the inside of Dave Marshall. Salmonen runs wide, and then Marshall gets the switchback. It's how you need to approach Parabolica in every single step of the way, as we've got just under 8 minutes plus an additional lap. Rich Hayden leading by nearly 6.5 seconds from Luke Whitehead. Konstantin Kletzer now being closed in on by Alex Toth-Jones. Dave Marshall now has Salmonen up the inside, who has got back past for P5 into the Rettifilio chicane. So Salmonen doing a really, really good job there. Here's James West, and he's ahead of Harry Omerod and Ryan Elliott. Elliott trying to go side by side through the Rettifilio. Doesn't quite work out for the Volkswagen, but he gets the run coming out of the chicane, heading towards Curva Grande. And there is Kobylikin's running at the top 10, ahead of Andy Bellers and Isaac Smith. This has definitely not stopped, has it, Martin? I think I've just had to take a gasp of fresh air just to calm my lungs down a bit.
I was wondering what you're doing without warning. As Rich Hayden, he's just maintaining this gap now. 6:56 to go. Yeah, that's a smart thing to do, because you watch in the next couple of laps, the cars with ballast, the brakes and tyres will be going off.
Sorry to cut across you there, but there was one Alfa Romeo that started tank slapping, and that having a tank slapper. That was Kobylikin's, because Kobylikin's was trying to force a move on both Harry Omerod and Ryan Elliott, who were battling away for position. That was for 8th place. Kobylikin's drops behind. Isaac Smith gets the position back as Ryan Elliott sends it up the inside. That was absolutely brutal there from the Volkswagen Golf. up the inside of the Hyundai, and here comes Isaac Smith side by side with Harry Omerod. This is what you want in a touring car race here at Monza. And that's Andy Mellors. It's nearly 3 abreast. It's 2 Hyundais on the inside, 1 Honda on the outside. Oh, Mellors goes off. Mellors goes off. And Omerod runs wide. That's through the Parabolica. My goodness me. That was that was 3 abreast. I knew it was going to happen at some point. And that was through the Parabolica. And Harry Omerod, more importantly, has just pitted. Now, has he got damage? Has he got damage is the biggest key point, because it wasn't easy. Oh, Leakin's turned around! Hits the barriers hard! Isaac Smith follows him through too! No, there's more damage! More damage! Who is that? That was Kenny Press! Kenny Press, I think that was. Jack McIntyre's in the pits. Absolute pandemonium heading into the Rettifidio between Kobe Leakins and Isaac Smith. That was a gargantuan carambolage there. My God, I was so stuck for words there, ladies and gentlemen. But whoa!
All I have to say is thank goodness it's virtual, because that was just huge.
I think I'm not going to start using superlatives at this particular moment in time, Martin, because I might run out of them before the end of the reverse grid top 10 a little bit later on. But Rich Hayden, as they say, if the leader's doing a good job, you're not really talking about them. Just carrying on, business as usual, extending the gap to now what is going to be 6.7 seconds.
I've not really looked at his lap times, but they've been going by his lead. Very, very consistent. He's enjoying this.
Yes.
These boys.
Yeah.
Everybody's enjoying themselves. Actually, they're having a great day's racing again. We've had a great season so far for racing and incident and entertainment, should I say?
Yeah, because it looks like Paul Laramie is possibly on for his best finish of the season so far, and Paul didn't actually score in both races at Zolder, as he's really closing on Isaac Smith, who's possibly got you can just see the gap between the front bumper and the bonnet on that I-30. That has got some significant damage. So whether he's just going to carry on to the end of the race...
I'm impressed that they're keeping going.
But Paul Laramie, took 36 points at the opening round. Obviously, Kobe was not with us last time out at Zolder. He's now down in 16th, and Andy Carroll has pitted in the Cupra Leon. So we have 17 runners and riders here, just under 3.5 minutes plus an additional lap. Andy Mellors being chased down by Paul Laramie. Kenny Press is actually running at the top 10 as Harry Omerod, rejoined just outside of the top 10, is now in P11. So at the minute, with just over 3 minutes to go plus an additional lap, Rich Hayden leads by 6.4 seconds ahead of Luke Whitehead. Konstantin Kletzer rounds out the top 3 ahead of Alex Toth-Jones. Mikko Salmonen and Dave Marshall, 5th and 6th. And then we got Ryan Elliott, James West, Rob Butler, Kenny Press, Harry Omerod. Omerod goes off at the chicane there and has pulled to a stop as Mellors goes through into 11th position. Paul Laramie now up into 12th place. So great battle here in the dying stages of the race here at Monza. They'll be heading through the 2 Lesmos, so they've gone through Lesmo 1 into the right at Lesmo 2. A little bit more understeer there from Andy Mellors, as that's a great run out of the corner by Paul Laramie, who's ending up going side by side with the Audi as they head down Seraglio down to the Ascari chicane. And Paul Laramie, before the Ascari chicane, has got the Audi up in front in P11. But Mellors trying to look to go up the inside into Ascari, and the Audi gives no room. Or does... that was a straight line there from Laramie. So he's had to back out a bit, put the brakes on, let Mellors go through. Right call of action there.
See that little sausage curve in the exit of the Ascari? You don't want to be hitting that. That's going to damage the car.
That's definitely the case, because in many respects, some people would just think, why are you straight lining it? Right. Doing the old Alex Wurz, were we? I've run out of talent, he once famously said.
He's one of the most honest and lovely men I've ever met in Formula 1.
I've also had the opportunity of commentating on his eldest son, Charlie, and also they've got a younger son. Well, because they've got Felix, who recently turned 18 a few weeks ago. Charlie and Oscar are in karting. Charlie actually competed in the Rotax Max Euro Trophy last season, so I had the privilege of commentating on him. Met the rest of the rest. So yeah, Alex's wife Julia, fantastic lady, very good at what she does. Here is Andy Mellors in P11. Looks like Paul Laramie, Martin, isn't really giving up on 11th place quite yet, because that might be his best finish.
He's
so
enjoying
far.
himself. I think everybody in this race has had a good time, and here we go. It's getting close. I'm getting slightly nervous for Rich. I'm not going to say anything about him now.
No, we'll wait until the checkered flag falls in just a few moments' time. But this battle between Andy Mellors and Paul Laramie, Kenny Press isn't that far up the road, and Harry Omerod is starting to come back in the Hyundai. But obviously, if that's struggling with damage, the physics of the software itself will not allow him to catch up as probably how he would like, as we are fast approaching the conclusion of race number 5. Race 1 here at Monza, round 3 of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, and Harry Omerod has a moment. Yep, in the Ascari chicane. So the timer has now expired. Fastest lap of the race has gone to Ryan Elliott, who's now in P7. So Rich Hayden not going to get a clean sweep so far here at Monza, but he's definitely tried. I mean, Ryan Elliott's just put in a 1 minute 57.031 on the penultimate lap, so that's a good bit of going. He was feeling very confident, and it shows that the Golf has got the speed around here at Monza, especially with lower ballast.
I don't think Rich is going to be that upset about not getting a fastest lap if he can pull this off, but he is competitive, so it'll be interesting to hear from him.
Yes, indeed. So Laramie has just got in front of Andy Mellors, so Paul Laramie on for his best finish so far, so hopefully very shortly, as we see in the top right hand corner, Konstantin Kletzer running towards a maiden podium here in the VRRC Touring Car eSeries, as it's a 3-way scrap. Now this is for 10th place. Kenny Press has been left, he's been caught up. Andy Mellors up the inside with the pair of them going into the chicane. Is he going to make that through? Kenny Press straight line, Andy Mellors makes it, and Paul Laramie goes through too. Brilliant job there by Andy Mellors and Paul Laramie to jump on Kenny Press, who was on for a top 10 finish. So hopefully very soon we'll get to where our leader is at the moment. But look at the battle for second and third. Konstantin Kletzer is a 10th away from what could be a net second position.
He's going around the outside.
Is this going to work? Oh, but I think, well, Rich Hayden is already going to cross the start-finish line. He's final lap. Final lap it is for Rich Hayden. So Konstantin Kletzer and Luke Whitehead side by side heading into the Rettifilio, as Paul Laramie looks to go up the inside of Andy Mellors once again for P10. Kletzer a bit snaky under the brakes. Whitehead up the inside to take second back. But I think really if Kletzer gets the run out of Parabolica like he did last time, Martin, he's got a real good chance of getting second position ahead of Luke Whitehead.
Yeah, definitely. This isn't over yet, though.
Yeah, it isn't over until the checkered flag falls. It's Paul Laramie. Still, again, he's going round the outside of Andy Mellors in that Audi across the start-finish line. It's side by side. It's nip and tuck between the pair. I think the Audi's just got a nose ahead. It has. So that's a really good job there by Paul Laramie to go into the Rettifilio on the final lap of their race. But Andy Mellors trying to strike back, as in the top right hand.
Back.
Yeah, he's got up the inside of him. Rich Hayden still is running in the lead of this race. He's heading down to Ascari for the final time, as Paul Laramie is going to try and go side by side with Andy Mellors through Curva Grande. That's not going to quite work. Through the Ascari comes the number 50 Audi of Rich Hayden. And Laramie trying to go around the outside in the second other Audi, going towards the Della Roggia chicane. He's got the inside line on Mellors.
He's got the inside line. Oh no.
Oh, he gets two wheels on the curbs. The sausage curb pitches the car. Alan Knight through that chicane. But, ladies and gentlemen, draw your attention well and truly to the leader who is now coming through Parabolica. I never thought I'd be saying this, But very, very shortly, round the final corner comes Rich Hayden in the number 50 Audi to win the first race here at Monza from pole position. And it is a drag race to the finish. Who's going to get it? Kletzer or Whitehead? It's going to be Kletzer. I think Kletzer's got the nose ahead in the Golf. He has. And has he got it? Yes. Job done by the number 43 from Austria. Luke Whitehead takes third place ahead of Alex Toth-Jones. Mikko Salminen in fourth place. And what's even more impressive, Dave Marshall started P9. He finishes in sixth ahead of a recovering Ryan Elliott, who sets the fastest lap of the race of 1 minute 56.997. James West, Gamer Muscle in the 07 Alfa Romeo Giulietta takes eighth ahead of Rob Butler. And we have here McIntyre behind Omerod. This is the battle for P12 as Omerod breaks and locks up going into Parabolica. But I think that Andy Mellors will now take 10th place ahead of Kenny Press. But Harry Omerod will round out the top 12 positions ahead of Jack McIntyre, our winner from the first race at Zolder. Paul Laramie, unfortunately after that faux pas, whilst trying to battle away with Andy Mellors for P10, will finish in 14th place ahead of Kobe Leakins. We'll then have Isaac Smith and John Cole, and then Andy Carroll, who actually pitted from last. So we had 17 runners and riders. So I'm just going to quickly jump in and say many congratulations, pole position and race win for Rich Hayden. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Don't read too much into it though. I had zero ballast in the car, right? So I had a nice light car.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. But even though you, for the majority of the race, had the fastest lap in your back pocket as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to manage the car because I knew the tyres were going to go away quite quickly. More so for the guys with ballast, but I didn't really want to risk it on some of these high-speed corners we've got here. So I kind of managed the pace down, and managed to keep hold of it. So very happy.
Brilliant. Well, good luck in race 2, Rich.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing how you get on there. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Rich Hayden, not just doubling up as a racer, he's also doing race control too. So we'll try and see that if we can possibly speak to the rest of our top 3 very shortly. We're just waiting for Konstantin Kletzer, I believe, as he was our runner-up by a whisker. And then also we'll speak to Luke Whitehead, who takes another podium place here in the VRRC. So I'm going to say something in German, so at least Konstantin understands. Herzlichen Glückwunsch mit zweiter Platz heute Nacht.
Thank you very much indeed. That's quite a surprise for my first appearance in this series. Of course, I had the advantage of having no weight in my car. That was an easy one. So the fight with Mr. Whitehead at the end of the day was an easy one because I saw him losing all the grip, and then not much art behind it.
Yeah, it was basically a drag race. It was sort of like saying, Brian and Dominic in Fast and Furious, like drag race from Parabolica. But that was a great sight to see, and you're looking forward to race 2 here at Monza. It seems to favour the Golf pretty well, not just yourself, but also Mikko Salminen. You both shown really good pace around here.
It shouldn't be, because the Golf has a very bad aerodynamic. So actually the Audi should be much faster, which we see with Rick. He's the fastest.
Mm-hmm. Well, all the very best of luck for race 2, Konstantin. Thank you very much.
You indeed.
Okay, and next up, our final interview with Luke Whitehead in the number 21 Hyundai. Luke, another podium for you in the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. But Konstantin just had the run coming out of the final corner. It was a very difficult race as well, trying to manage the cars through the very demanding circuit here at Monza.
Yeah, it was very, very difficult. I'm gutted I got done at the line, to be honest. I think the gap was of something like 9 thousandths, but I mean, I'm happy to have even been on the podium. You know, the 2 that finished ahead of me, Konstantin and Rich, both had no ballast, so that was definitely an advantage for them, especially around the track, which, you know, it has so many crucial corners. There's sort of mid to low speed corners followed by a really long straight each time. So yeah, really over the moon with the pace, to be honest. Much better than what happened at Zolder. We had a bit of a nightmare race, to be honest. But yeah, glad to be back on the podium once again.
And thoughts ahead of race 2?
Well, from what I saw in the mirrors in that race, there's quite a few incidents further back, so that would definitely be something to watch out for, and hopefully I just need to keep out of trouble. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's only round 3 in the championship. It's still a long way to go, so it's the person that's going to keep the coolest heads and keep out of trouble that's going to prevail at the end of the day. So.
Okay, Luke, many congratulations on another podium success, and we look forward to seeing how you get on in race 2. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
So, Martin, some very interesting comments from all 3 drivers, especially Rich saying, yeah, I just needed to keep the car, which didn't really happen for some of the people in the back of the field. Yeah, so a big thank you to all 3 of our drivers, Rich Hayden, Konstantin Kletzer, and Luke Whitehead there. Some interesting comments there, Martin, especially from Rich, saying, I really wanted to not hit the curbs too much and just sort of save the car a little bit, because it's going to be interesting in the race 2 that's coming up very, very shortly.
Definitely, it's a place to keep off the curves again. We saw at the weekend in Austria how we had a fantastic Formula 1 race, but the guys were attacking the curbs. I think they'd forgotten where they were, and not a lot of running time. Reliability was stand out. Monza's the same. If you attack these Formula 1 circuit curbs, you're going to damage the car. That's what they put them there for. I love that race. That was a great race again. Rich Hayden, really pleased for him. But the rest of the guys, they really enjoyed themselves. You could tell that. Great racing. Yeah. Looking forward to race 2, reverse grid. It's all to play for again.
Yes, very much the case, as you can just see the lovely aerial shots here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. The architect of it was Alfredo Rosselli. So we now have 5 different winners from 5 different races. Feels like history is repeating itself, like a particular Formula 1 season where they had 7 from 7. But touch wood, that so I think at the end of the day it's going to be pretty good from what we're going to see here at Monza for race 2. So join myself and Martin in just a moment's time, and we'll be right back ahead of the reverse grid top 10 here at round 3 of the VRRC Touring Car eSeries here at Monza. Right, we're back to get underway here, and we are go here at Monza as John Cole was on reverse grid pole position. He's got Isaac Smith alongside his Kobe Leakins in 3rd place, as it is they're sort of spreading their way all the way across the... Oh no, that is Konstantin Kletzer and Andy Cole that's gone in the barrier. Paul Laramie's even been turned around before the rest of Filio. Oh my goodness me, before we've even had 30 seconds of this race go, we've had 2 major incidents, and people are dropping like stones here, Martin. Not what we wanted.
Just you kind of thought that would happen again. Second race at Zolder was exactly the same. Wow, here we go. Race on.
Yeah, as John Cole in the Bob Racing 302 Honda Civic is leading from Isaac Smith in the 123, as there's a great battle there for what is 3rd place. That's Jack McIntyre, now up into 3rd. He was our race 1 winner at Zolder last week, where Chris Smiley, as it's nearly 3 abreast coming into the first of the 2 Lesmos. Would you believe that? And that's in 3 and it is 3 abreast. That is 3 abreast. My goodness, and McIntyre's made the move, stick around the outside of Elliott. Onroad was in the inside. And so it's Honda versus Volkswagen and Hyundai, and Honda triumphed. And at the back of that train, it's Hyundai with Volkswagen, the sandwich in the the meat in the Asian sandwich there, pardon the pun, but in terms of manufacturer representation. But then you look at a little bit further back, you've then got James West, who's had a top 10 finish last time out in race 1. He's got Dave Marshall, I think, possibly closing on him. So, yeah, in many respects, that's going to be quite interesting. But John Cole already, Martin, looks to be doing a good one here at Monza.
I tell you, it's the leaders. They get that clear air and lack of distraction, and they go. This is going to be quite a race again. I just hope that the midfield don't trip each other up.
I'm sort of hoping the same here as well, because we've seen so much action and so much drama as Jack McIntyre. I mean, the funny thing is that we've had 5 different winners from 5 different races, but there's no one that has really seized that advantage and gone, I'll become the first 2-time race winner in this. And that's what's made it more exciting. I mean, we have talked about this before, that and you and I have both made this point, Martin, that the ballast has really changed things in terms of when you're leading the championship coming to a round, you are at a distinct disadvantage, as Ryan Elliott now goes up into P3, past Harry Omerod, into the first of the 2 Lesmos. They've got Jack McIntyre, James West, Andy Mellors, Dave Marshall, Luke Whitehead, Rich Hayden, now up into P10 as we go on board through the rear windscreen cam through Rob Butler, and that is Mikko Salminen. Salminen trying to go up the inside of the number 74 Honda. So gotten side by side, pulls away from the Honda and looks to be going towards the Ascari chicane just ahead. Salminen's made the move up into P12.
Absolutely brilliant. Just waiting to see. Yeah, Cole is just. Yeah, he's extending his lead. The rest of the field tightly bunched. This is going to be fascinating in the next. I think, come the last 6 minutes, this is going to be a good race in the middle.
Yeah, it's the fastest lap of the race goes to John Cole with a 1 minute 58.239 as Harry Omerod again gets past Ryan Elliott. They've been trying to outdo one another. It's like the.
He's got a toe there.
Yeah, he's got it's like the tortoise and the hare, and the one up front is the tortoise. James West up into P5. He's gone up the inside of Jack McIntyre. Great move there. No, Ryan Elliott's gone straight line, and the Rettifio. He cannot now. If he rejoins, he's got to give positions.
He has to yield.
Yeah, he has to yield on that because that was a definitive. Yeah, that's a definitive. It's a definitive advantage. Yeah, so the thing was, I think he might have yielded already.
Himself there.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And again, Rich Hayden has got the fastest lap on lap number 3, 1 minute 57.132. He said, "Yeah, I was just conserving the car." Come on, Rich. I think we know you both. We know you're sandbagging, buddy. Come on, mate. But no, P10 already, and we are 5 minutes down, 15 to go, plus an additional lap. And great to see Jack McIntyre really getting stuck in. There's Alex Toth-Jones in 11th. And he's about 5 to 6 car lengths behind Rich Hayden. So, yeah, many respects.
I think if I was Alex, I'd sit on Rich and see if he could keep with him and follow his progress. As again, Rich has got no ballast, and he should be quick here.
Yeah, definitely the case. As Jack McIntyre hustling. Now there was that was a bit. I caught the tail. We both caught the tail end of that as Harry Omerod is going to get slingshotted past James West up into P3. Jack McIntyre coming through, and there is Luke Whitehead, and he's trying to get. He's got past Ryan Elliott. He's trying to get. It's 3 abreast heading into Parabolica. Whitehead on the inside, Omerod in the middle, McIntyre to the outside. Whitehead's got the job done. McIntyre runs wide. And here comes Ryan Elliott. It's 3 abreast coming out of that corner. Oh my goodness, through the Parabolica. Brilliant display, great control by all drivers. And we've now got James West train. And I think I spotted the back of it. That is Alex Toth-Jones.
It just looked the motorway going from Monza to Milan.
I think it's more like the M25 as Whitehead goes up the inside of West. As someone's gone straight line. That is Mellors that's dropped. Mellors has dropped, I think, a little bit there, as he's now had to yield. That was 3 abreast coming out whilst the redress was happening, as they would call it in Virgin Australia Supercars. If anyone remembers the incident a couple of years ago at Bathurst, where there was a redress and Scott McLaughlin, I think, was involved in that, and that didn't really end up well for the people that were sort of caught out by it. I think Garth Tander was the other individual. Dave Marshall now up into P8. Rich Hayden now 7th place. And
watch out for Rich now. He's
right. Okay. Elliott might be investigated because he's just cut the chicane and he's kept his position this time, which in some respects, Martin, he's not yielded. So that would be clearly investigated, as Rich Hayden really has pace in that Audi once again, as he's trying to go side by side with Harry Omerod down into the Ascari chicane. Rich Hayden looking to go towards the outside of him, can't get past on the Hyundai, but looks to be a bit more planted coming through the chicane as opposed to what the Hyundai is doing at the moment.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting with what the clerk of the course does there, because that was a clear infringement, but the guy's in the way and he's racing hard for what could be a podium. So I hate sorting things out through the regulations, but the guy's in the way now and he could take somebody out.
Yeah, so Rich Hayden just got past Harry Omerod through the Parabolica, closing on James West, who's coming out of the toe and he's going towards the outside on the Rettifilio on Ryan Elliott. Now let's see what happens here. Rich Hayden, do not tell me you're going to put it 3 wide. Thank goodness for that, as there's a little bit of door banging between Elliott and West. West gets a little bit of a touch and then, there we go. It's sort of like a domino effect. So Ryan Elliott manages to keep the front wheel drive car going forward, so manages to keep the position for the minute. And as you say, Martin, I mean, I see it a lot in karting, and I'm sure that Nigel Manson would agree with us both that it's not nice seeing it decided out on when it's not decided out on the circuit, but here it is being decided on the circuit.
Here we
James
go.
West gets now there was contact between the pair of them, and it just unsettled.
This is what I was talking about.
So West is going to have to relinquish that place back to Ryan Elliott, to be honest with you, because then he'll be under the. But Elliott has DNF'd all of a sudden. Has he had a connection problem? Has he had a lag or a connection problem? Because so he's left the track. That's an instant DNF. So in many respects, that's not really good for his opportunity. But then obviously again, James West had a little bit of contact. There was a bit of door panel banging there. So in some respects, I don't think the straight lining from James West was actually his fault. As now Alex Stoth-Jones right behind Dave Marshall and Harry Omerod, and this is the battle for P6. So it is one of those things where it could be classed as a racing incident, or how will the clerk of the course potentially see it is my biggest question.
Yeah, thankfully I'm not up at the course.
Neither am I, thank goodness.
This has been very busy, and the hours they must take unravelling all of this.
Yeah, very true. As we go into the second half of the second race here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, it's Marshall just behind Omerod, Toth-Jones just slotting in behind in the MSL Motorsport Consultancy I-30. We've got Salmonen, Mellors, and then we've got McIntyre, and Kobe Leekens has made a bit of a resurgence. Omerod. Leekens hits the barrier. Toth-Jones trying to go past Omerod there. Not good, but in many respects, Leekens, I think, he's just had to. He's done the right thing there. He's hit the barrier. He's had to redress going through the Rettifilio, straight lining it, but then deciding, well, I can't really do that. I've got to let them all pass. It's just due diligence, due common sense, and he's done exactly the right thing there. So Alex Toth-Jones battling away with Andy Mellors, and Mikko Salmonen now getting into this battle for what is going to be effectively 7th on the road, and Jack McIntyre has made a resurgence. Up into P11 comes the Honda. Kobe Leekens still in 12th, but is about a second and a half from the tail end of this 5-car train. Konstantin Kletzer, after what happened earlier on, now down into P13. He's in P13. Rob Butler in 14th. Kenny Press, Paul Laramie, and Andy Carroll rounding out the 17 that are still circulating. But Rich Hayden still holding on to the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 57.132.
Yeah, the front two have made quite a break here, so we're not going to see much of that because there's so much going on behind. But that's going to get interesting.
Yeah, I think Isaac Smith, he might have a bit more pace, as here we are with Harry Omerod going up the inside of Alex Toth-Jones, but Toth-Jones keeping it planted around the outside, and that's brave round at Parabolica, but he runs wide slightly, 2 wheels on the green tarmac there, but he gets the run back coming through Parabolica to get the slingshot on Omerod.
It does give you the slingshot line.
Yes, very much the case as they go into the Retafilio. 7 minutes and 45 to go. Salmonen on the inside of Mellors. That is for P9. Konstantin Kletzer is about a second. He's about, he's about 1 second ahead of Rob Butler. That's the battle for 13th position a bit further down the order. But this battle, this is like slipstream warfare, isn't it, really, Martin?
It definitely is. I think we're at the next round. The ballasting is going to be evening itself out around the paddock. So I don't know what the drop-off point for ballast is, but everybody's going to have some very shortly, which is great.
Yeah,
great racing.
Yeah, great racing indeed. All the way down to 10th place in the standings when we head to our next round. And that was a good move from. Alex Toth-Jones from Alex Toth-Jones past Harry Omerod there, so he's now up into P7. And with our next race heading from Italy to Spain.
Barcelona, great circuit. Another great circuit.
It's the amount of tracks that have really come on this calendar have just been really good. Oh, bit of a cut there from Alex Toth-Jones through the second half of Ascari.
It's a bit scruffy.
Yeah, that's he can't be doing that in real life in the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport that he'll be racing in just a few days' time. But at least this gives him the opportunity to keep sharp. I mean, obviously with a lot of racing drivers, Alex was due to compete in GT3 this year, competed in GT4 last season, and now has had to make what I would class more of a sidestep to keep him going. Into racing with Nick Duffield and the team there. They're well cemented within Porsches, and good to see that Alex has got a drive this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. But at the moment he's still battling away tooth and nail. Dave Marshall, who came into the round here, was leading the standings but by just 10 points. But I think really, Martin, there's been so many twists and turns here at Monza that you can't really find out who has got the championship lead until it's announced on social media post this evening, because obviously that's what they tend to do with the VRRC. Like most sim racing championships, they will post the results officially online once everything's been ratified through the clerk of the course, as we enter the final quarter of the racing action here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. What a great race we're having in race 2, wouldn't you agree, Martin? It's been a slobber knocker so far.
It's been a slobber knock. I've never heard that before. That's a new one for the book. It's been an absolutely brilliant round. Zolder was fantastic fun for all the wrong reasons. This has had its moments, and great. And going back to Alex and virtual racing, this has kept him sharp. This has been fantastic. We've been able to pull the drive together with into racing, and I'm delighted for him because it's a great series, well supported by Porsche and Boss, Mobile, Michelin. Really pleased for him, and let's get to the weekend. Can't wait.
Yes, indeed, and I'll be speaking with Alex live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. British Summer Time, but he's got a really big battle on his hands.
He's got a massive battle now.
Yeah, that's Marshall alongside in the Honda, and that's not going to be easy. But Toth-Jones
to the inside.
Yeah, he's just
got to get to the inside.
He's just about made it. Yeah, just about made it. Yeah. So at the moment, with just over 3 minutes and 40 seconds plus an additional lap left to go here at Monza, John Cole, there is on your screens James West Gamer Muscle, currently running in P5, was running as high as P3 as he enters from his perspective through into the Retifili. Obviously, there was a slight delay, but he's now going through Curva Grande and up towards the Lesmos, so he's consistently interacting with his 50,000+ followers on Twitch who are watching his every move as things happen. So it's just been quite interesting that not only have we got everyone watching on the relevant YouTube, Facebook, Periscope feeds on Twitch, and also via other streamers as well. So great to have James West with us. He's also been in the virtual commentary box alongside Richard John Neal, I believe, on the Mini Challenge UK eSeries, which has its Brands Hatch finale this coming Saturday, 11:50 local time. You don't want to miss that because it will decide some fantastic prizes, and great for both MSL and also VRRC for being involved in that too. So Marshall and Toth Jones still battling away over what is P6, and Toth Jones and Marshall both very aggressive, not really giving any quarter there at all, are they, Martin?
No, not at all. This means something. The squabbling is giving West the chance to get away a bit. Let's see. I just hope they can work together and give us a grand finale here and pull the others in.
Yeah, I think that's very much the case. I mean, if Dave Marshall has anything to say about it, within every stretch of the fibres of the muscles in his body, he's going to do what he can to try and see if he can get one up on Alex Toth Jones. But we both know that Alex is a very steeled, experienced individual. Despite his young age, he can really pull something great out of the bag, and he's done really, really well so far in this series. And I just think at the end of it all, Isaac Smith has now got a comfortable gap with just over a minute and a half plus an additional lap left to go. He's got a gap of nearly 3.5 seconds, and at the moment it is a Hyundai 1-2 with Luke Whitehead from LWR Racing in the 21 Hyundai i30, and in third place we haven't talked about him really at all. Rich Hayden, who's about to get another podium and also possibly a fastest lap, because last time out he was fastest around the circuit before Ryan Elliott picked him by, I think it was about a couple of tenths of a second. But Rich Hayden doing a great job. But this battle that is still going on now, I'm just noticing that this battle ahead of Alex Toth Jones, there's James West. Alex could possibly get now. It's getting closer now. It is really getting close, because John Cole is now in fourth place. Yeah,
it's what I was hoping for.
Oh, that's close. John Cole and Alex Toth Jones both lock up, and John Cole straight lines the Ascari chicane. Oh, that was close. That was close. Oh my goodness, it's coming down to the wire here yet again. I need a dark room. I need my medication. Alex Toth Jones is trying to go up the inside of James West. This is for P4, and if he gets that, oh my goodness me, that's going to be absolutely brilliant. And Alex Toth Jones has got through on the inside. Brilliant move. Brilliant move. Wow.
Now he's got to take the inside line down here. Not quite that wide. That's
not what you want here at Monza. Oh my goodness, that was nigh on Michael Schumacher, Rubens Barrichello back in Hungary a few years back. That's not good.
See that white line? That's track limits.
Oh, you can just see the expression on James West's face. Oh my goodness!
It's track limits.
Oh, that's brilliant. But just like the look that look on his face is like, hello, wakey, rise and shine.
That was complete commitment from both of them.
And he's having a laugh about it as well. That's brilliant. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. And it's swapping again between the pair of them, because Alex Toth Jones is not letting go out. And Rich Hayden goes through. No, hang on, that wasn't Rich Hayden, that was Dave Marshall. Dave Marshall got through. So there was a little bit of contact there into the Retifili, into the De La Roggia, bumps over the curbs, it unsettles him. And Dave Marshall gets past. But
Dave Marshall on a charge again.
Again, yes. So next time around we will have the last lap board being shown to Isaac Smith, and if I'm honest, I can't believe that those words that I thought I might not utter tonight, I might be uttering very, very shortly. But here is the battle for P4. And then you've also got P6 and 7 as Harry Omerod and James West now go toe-to-toe. So it's Italy versus South Korea. And then just up ahead, it's Japan versus South Korea. With
Alex has just got to move over a little bit now, take that line, and he's got to keep to track limits, but to the right going down the straight here, because Dave Marshall's going to get a bit of a tow, but he's got a heavier car.
Yeah, so on to the final lap we have gone. Isaac Smith in the 1:23, leading the way by just over 1.2 seconds from Luke Whitehead in the number 21 Hyundai. And I don't think Dave Marshall here, Martin, has got the run on Alex. He hasn't.
No, he hasn't. That Alex took that corner perfectly. Oh, he's got a bit bouncy there. That's lost him some momentum coming out now to the Curva Grande.
But a good move there by James West to take back 6th position from Harry Omerod as they headed into the Curva Grande. He actually did the move before the rest of Filio chicane.
That was a stonking move. Very good.
Yeah, but Omerod has got other ideas and is keeping it planted around the outside of the Alpha, and they barge door panels again into Della Roggia. And
here we go.
Omerod's lost out. But West kept it. Here's the leader, Isaac Smith, now heading towards well, in Formula 1 you'd call it the DRS zone, but it's through to the Saraglio curve, heading down towards Ascari. And Whitehead and Hayden, look how close this is. Could we get a grandstand finale for race 2 here at Monza?
Racy. It's all about the exit of the Ascari here.
And what Smith didn't want to do was lock up there as Rich Hayden gets a bit messy through the second part of Ascari, but manages to pull it back together as best he dare. But Luke Whitehead is in the slipstream, heading on the straightaway down towards Parabolica for the final time. It's pulling out of the toe. So what I think he's going to do here is going to go to the outside, get the cutback if he can, or is he going to keep it planted around the outside? He's going to keep it planted around the outside.
Get the slingshot.
Yeah, well put there, Martin. He's going to come out of the final corner, and I don't think Lightning could strike twice here. No, well, Whitehead's getting a bit closer.
It's going to be close.
Oh, he's not going to do it. I think Isaac Smith has won that race. Isaac Smith makes it 6 different winners from 6 successive races, with Luke Whitehead and Rich Hayden again on the podium. Alex Toth-Jones beats Dave Marshall to 4th on the road. Would you believe that? Oh my goodness me. Oh, dearie me. So that's 2 podiums. That's a 3rd and a 2nd for Luke Whitehead. That's the first victory for Isaac Smith in this championship. And Rich Hayden gets the fastest lap.
I tell you, it's going to be so funny seeing Rich Hayden driving an estate car next week.
Right, okay. So Alex Toth-Jones takes 4th ahead of Dave Marshall. We've then got James West having his best finish so far in 6th position ahead of Harry Omerod, Mikko Salminen, Kobe Leakins, Andy Mellors, Konstantin Kletzer. Then we've also got Rob Butler, Kenny Press, Jack McIntyre, Paul Laramie, and Andy Carroll. And then we had the disconnect, unfortunately, from Ryan Elliott. But we'll wait until our top 3 come to the start-finish line. But Martin, another great race, some great performances throughout the field, and we had plenty of action along the way.
All of those. Absolutely brilliant. What a great evening.
Yes, indeed.
Well done all. Great entertainment. Thank you.
Okay, so nice to see them all sort of making their way down towards Ascari. Just keeping it nice and calm, as if it was a formation lap here. There is our race winner, number 123. There's Rich Hayden taking his 2nd successive podium. So we'll head first of all to, if we can, we'll head to our race winner. 6 different winner from 6 different races. Congratulations to Isaac Smith and the 123 Hyundai. Well done.
Thank you. Definitely was probably one of the most difficult sim races I've ever done. With 120 kilos on board, it definitely isn't easy.
Yes, I think when I was speaking, when I was finding out information about what was happening here at Monza, yeah, I think Dave Marshall, despite having finished in P5, he said that with the 150, you're having to brake a lot earlier into the corners, and I'm sure that's what you found with the Hyundai with such an amount of ballast on it.
Yeah, it makes it very dangerous, to be honest, with obviously cars without the weight braking so much later. It is what it is, though, at the end of the day. We've got to do what we've got to do.
So hopefully you're looking forward to next time out when we head to Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona in a week's time.
Yeah, I've never been there, same as pretty much every track on here, but it's a good thing to learn, and it's obviously very fun.
Many congratulations. Our 6th different winner from 6 successive races, Isaac Smith, in the 123 Hyundai. Good luck next week, Isaac. We'll see you on track in Spain.
Thank you.
Okay, we now head to our runner-up for race 2, the driver that finished 3rd in race 1. Well done, Luke Whitehead. Another successive podium. Must have felt really good to be able to close up on Isaac in the dying stages of the race, but again, just an opportunity that could have happened, wasn't it? Yeah, Isaac, well done. 2nd successive podium, taking a 2nd place finish this time. So well done. You nearly had the run on Isaac coming through the final lap itself. I think you were not that far behind him at the end of it all.
Yeah, to be honest, I was really fortunate to even be in that position in the first place. There was a lot of carnage at the start, as I thought there would be, but yeah, happy to be. I was happy just to settle for 2nd. I think one more lap, I probably would have tried to go for the lead a bit more, but yeah, over the moon with the result. 2 podiums in 2 races. I'm ecstatic, really. Couldn't have gone any better.
Obviously, that helps your championship aspirations. Obviously, you came into this round running in P7, obviously, with the likes of Jack McIntyre, Rob Butler struggling a little bit. I think this will probably put you towards the top 5 a little bit. So well done. Good luck in Spain next week, and many congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. And last but by no means least, man behind Virtual Reality Racing Club, another podium, Rich Hayden. And what's more, you got the fastest lap this time.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. That made a mistake right at the very beginning of the race. Got it really crossed up and lost a massive amount of paces, but managed to pull it back. And I think if there was another lap or 2, I think we would have gone for the win there.
I'd probably be in agreement with you there, because both you and Luke were closing down on Isaac hand over fist, and that Audi has been very, very strong here, and not just in your hands, but also in Paul Laramie's, because Paul was going for a top 10 finish in the first race, and the Audi's got really good straight line speed. I think Constantine was very right in what he said earlier about that the Audis have got a really good aerodynamic purchase around them, and around here at Monza, it just showed that in a great side of things, obviously with your race 1 victory, and then also taking 3rd place here in race 2.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the other thing that helped Paul, hopefully, is that he came to me for some coaching in the middle of the week and did 2 hours worth of coaching in the sim on Monza.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Martin, if you want to unmute on Discord, then you can have a chat with Rich down in the down here at the moment. So,
It's Martin. How are you?
Hello, Martin. How are you? I'm good, thank you. That was great.
Be ecstatic with that. The first 2 rounds weren't kind to you. We had a chat earlier today, and I was just having a little bit of a joke with the guys. I wanted to see your timesheet to see how much work you because you nailed it. Absolutely. What a great weekend for you. Delighted.
Thank you. Yeah, I've managed to put a little bit more time in the sim this week. I managed to get some good pace. Like I said, I was helped out by having 0 ballast, but yeah, I really like Monza.
I wasn't going to mention the ballast because you deserve that, mate. That was for the first 2 rounds of bad luck. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks very much. And thanks you to yourself and Alex for the commentary this evening. Thank you.
No problem at all, Rich. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time in Barcelona. Well done.
Thanks. Good night, guys.
that really rounds up things here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza here for round 3 of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. There you can see our calendar. We head to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, one of the mainstays again on the Formula One calendar, but we'll be there for 2 races next Tuesday. And as you can see, as we fade away here at Monza, Martin, it's been a great evening's racing. I'm looking forward to what we see in Catalunya next week in just 7 days' time.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Another great circuit. And good night, everybody. And catch up soon. Stay safe and stay sensible. Bye.
Indeed. So don't forget to tune in for the final round of the Mini Challenge UK eSeries, which takes place at a virtual Brands Hatch this coming Saturday at 11:50 British Summer Time. Don't forget, for those that might have seen the Tommy's Touring Cars, you can buy the cars that we are racing in the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries. From myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Martin Jones, it is ciao tutti here in Monza, and we will see you in 7 days' time in Catalunya. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend and stay safe.